And then our last question for today, ladies and gentlemen, comes from it's a Facebook question from Father B. Bruno, Father B says he needs some advice. He built flats on a land that he bought from government 10 years ago. And next to the land, there was an undeveloped land, an extra piece of land. He then decided that, look, he's going to go in and add extra flats on that land. 10 years down the line today, there is a company that is now says that his Father B's tenants are staying in the developed flats illegally and they must all produce identification. Father B then, Bruno, did a bit of research and he says that he can't find the website of the company anyway. But nonetheless, the law enforcement is now present outside his property. He wants to know, how does he then handle this? Bruno?
Sure. So unfortunately, I don't have enough information to give a very comprehensive answer to that question. But off the bat, it sounds to me that the extension of these flats onto the undeveloped land that did not belong to this particular owner is already problematic. So I'd honestly, if it was me, I'd worry less about the tenants and worry more about myself. That is an encroachment onto land that doesn't actually belong to you without any sort of consent or anything of the sort. So that's problem number one that I would try and resolve, because you may very well find that sooner or later somebody's going to come with a bulldozer and demolition order and going to destroy everything. So your relationship with the tenants is already going to be placed at risk. Now, how do you find out who this company is? There's no website. Well, it doesn't have to be a website for there to be a property owner. If there's an undeveloped piece of land, you should be able to track this down very easily in the deeds office. And then you can figure out who the actual owner of that land is. And you can tie it back to the person asking these questions. Because if they are the owner of the land and you've encroached on their property, I would very quickly take a step back and start cooperating just to avoid a situation where, for example, they try to get costs from you. At the very least, hopefully, they just take over the land, start letting it out, or they're going to bulldoze it and demolish it anyway, and they don't charge you anything. So just be careful with that. Insofar as your tenants are concerned and their whether they're legally in the country, that's how I understood the question. So remember that is a criminal. The criminal side of things that the tenants need to deal with. If somebody starts asking those questions, and law enforcement is there asking questions around their legality in the country, and it turns out that they don't have the necessary papers, they don't have asylum, and they're here illegally, the government is entitled to deal with that. How they deal with it depends on their own internal policies. I unfortunately don't know how they would go about doing it. I know that they don't always deport, but there has been a move towards it. Unfortunately, that I can't advise. But if they are here illegally, you may very well find that there will be consequences in their removal.
Right. So thank you very much, Bruno. So that does cover all of our three questions for today. We had one VAT one, a Brodie corporate one, and then we had now the building on the undeveloped land one. And with those three questions, ladies and gentlemen, we reached the end of today's episode. We'll see everybody again next week. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cool. Thanks, guys.